So let's do this. So I'm a lawyer, right? Otherwise known as a blood-sucking vampire, gargoyle, troll of some sort. But I'm not here to talk about the law tonight. What I'm here to talk about is the value of big numbers and small spaces. So the story starts out, my office was originally back in 2011 at the Alliance Bank building, and I had a wonderful view of the West. And my partner, Mark Brockhouse, comes in and he says, we're moving. We're going to buy an old building. We're going to change it all up. We're going to make, more money, because we're no longer paying rent. And I said, okay, we're going to do this kind of thing. I get to make all the decisions, at least all the cool decisions. You guys can make all the boring decisions. And that worked out pretty well. So one of the big decisions we had to make was we bring in lunch for everybody every day, so we needed a little kitchen, right? And so if you need a kitchen, the best place was where this big garage door was. And so we thought, make it glass. Well, if you don't want to look out in a parking lot, so let's make a pocket garden. My other partner, Nick Rouse, said, but no one will ever use it. So we said, let's invite people in. So when we move into the space, it looks beautiful, right? It has that new space smell, and no one was showing up. And we couldn't figure out why. We had told them about it, we had invited them in, and then we remembered, oh yeah, we're blood-sucking lawyers. People expect something out of us. They expect some catch. And so we thought, well, let's not do non-vampire type stuff. Let's make it free. Let's make it no contract. And we'll only have 2 rules, and it's about the golden rule. So who do you think shows up first? The nonprofits, right? They have nothing to lose. They want to save a buck. They want to raise a buck. They're willing to try something out, and they make money, and they thrive. After them come the musicians because, again, what do they have to lose, right? But they play, and they provide music to their fans. We brought the ACMM students in. We had Kyle Dillingham. We even had another Kyle Reed. But we've had to put a concert together, so many people wanted to play. Then the artists come in, and we've had every kind of art imaginable, and it offended somebody in our office every single time, okay? We had illustrators, we had burlesque performers, we had people who sketched the burlesque performers. But then we had, the dudes in suits, right? The boring guys. And so they came in, and started up companies and did entrepreneurial type of stuff. And even like Goro Ramen started by doing pop-up dinners in our space. Now, I pigeonholed everybody, right? I talked about vampires, I talked about artists, musicians, but it all comes back down to what we found is people. People getting together. People sitting eye to eye, knee to knee, enjoying each other. And we've seen everything from people smiling, to people crying, to people laughing, to people mourning. And I think we've even had all the entire life experiences from conception, don't ask me how I know that, to people mourning. Now, what I always get asked by other lawyers is, what's the stats, right? What do you have to show for it? And we've got numbers and everything, but it's bigger than stats, right? Right now, we're having 70 to 80 events a week or a month in our space. And what is that ROI? What's that return? Well, we've become a gathering place. People come to us, and what we've really kind of seen is by inviting people into our home, they've shared their lives with us. They've invited us into their families. And one of the really cool things is this soundtrack that's developed. Not just music, but not us, but that sound of people doing things, being industrious, creating stuff. And all we've provided is this little space that's simple, but we've allowed people to do things with it, creating nightclubs, bringing in, pianos and doing a nightly kind of concert, letting people do what they want with it. And what we've kind of talked about, this big number, this is the number of hours between 5 p.m. and 8 a.m. that all of us have these spaces that are empty, that are not being used. And if we can make 10% of that time available to people, what do they create? And so what we've found is that community doesn't necessarily need a space, but it doesn't hurt to have one to bring people together. Now, what has that done to us as a firm? Well, our marketing people hate us because we got to actually put out, marketing materials that say we're boring, we do lawyer stuff, to overcome this kind of fun party atmosphere, right? But really what it's about is inviting people in. We've been invited into the thread of our community. We've made 50,000 new friends in 5 years. And that that sense of community that has been given back to us has enriched us immensely. Thank you.